All right, boys, let's get into some of the tool deals I found today on Amazon. We're getting towards the end of the big spring sale. Appreciate you guys watching the videos. I'm just here to help you guys out. I got links to the products in the description to help you find it on Amazon. If you click on it and purchase something, I get a small commission. It helps out the channel. All right, boys, let's get into it. First off, we got the Greenworks 24-volt 10-piece power toolkit. I like this because it's $750, but it has a very good variety of tools. This is $749, but it has 10 different tools. It's got two 4 amp hours and one 2 amp hour battery. And Greenworks has that USB charging. Also on these big bundles, I always say if it's less than $100 a tool, which this has 10 tools, but I don't count the flashlight. So that's about 9 tools. So quick math, that's about like $80 a tool. This is a good starter pack. Someone that's getting into woodworking, or if you just bought a house, you want to do some DIY projects. Greenworks is a pretty good tool brand. It's not super professional, but it's good enough for stuff around the house. 25% off, $749. All right, next I found this 50-foot 10-gauge wire with multiple outlets and light indicator. 17% off, $60. I like this because if you're running some big power tools or a welder or something like that, you got to think about the amperage. You got to have that bigger gauge wire. I always think about it like water. Like you want a bigger pipe for heavier flow. It's not safe to be using the thin gauge wire on big power tools. The wire could get hot. You could burn up your outlet or something like that. So reduce the fire hazards. 17% off, $68. All right, next I found this little digital caliber. 27% off, $15. This is a good little thing to have if you want to get some detailed measurements. I always use this when I have to buy like a replacement bolt or something like that, or I want to get a specific size. I'll pull this out, measure it, especially if it's in millimeters because I'm not really good with millimeters. This is a nice set to pick up. It's got 2 batteries. It's got a little case. It's a pretty good deal. All right, next we got this Rhino USA retractable ratchet strap set. I've been a big fan of Rhino USA. I got some of their ratchet straps in like a battle box a few years ago, and those things have been sitting in the back of my truck, for a few years now, and they are flawless still. They still work awesome. I'm looking to get in some retractable ratchet straps. I like this set because it has these little plates right here you can mount to your truck bed or to your trailer or something, and it eliminates all that loose strap. 20% off, $79, and Rhino USA is a made in the USA, well quality product. All right, next we got this another Rhino USA car tie down strap, 4-pack with axle straps. This is 20%, $120. Like I said, the quality is there. These things have been sitting in the back of my truck, getting rained on all the weather, and I pull them out and they still work flawlessly. So I can't say nothing but good things about Rhino USA. The quality is there for the money. All right, next we got this tri-ball mount and hook, rotatable 2-inch receiver hitch. This thing's $58. I like this one because it's got all 3 size balls. It's got a hook and it's got a little shackle on there. And especially if you're trying to pull something out and you're tying up, you never want to wrap that rope around the ball hitch. You always want to hook it into a shackle. And this looks like it's pulling straight off the receiver, so you're not going to damage anything on your truck. $58. This is a pretty good little set to pick up. All right, then I got this adjustable rotating hitch. Now I got a new truck. I got to get a new hitch for it. And I like this one because it's adjustable. For certain trailers that I have, I want them to sit a little lower. Sometimes I want to set them a little higher than anything I pick up. I don't have to swap out the ball size. I just pull a pin on the side, turn it around to the correct size, and then put the pin back in. Super simple, super easy. And this one comes with an anti-theft lock, which is pretty cool because you're going to invest some money into a trailer hitch. You don't want anyone to take it. So it comes with a free lock. $135. All right, next, over this big spring sale, GearWrench has been having deals left and right, and this is just their standard and stubby ratchets, SAE and Metric, and GearWrench is known as a tool truck alternative, so it's up there with the Snap-on and the Mako and stuff like that. It's a pretty good company, and from my understanding, these guys were the inventors of the ratcheting wrench. Well, it sounds like it's in the name, but 18% off, $97. All right, next we got the Work Pro 22-piece ratcheting wrenching set, Metric and SAE. This is a budget option, but it's got multiple 5-star reviews. Everyone loves them. It's 15% off, $84. This is about the typical sell price of this, but right now it's a pretty good deal. All right, next we got this little magnetic screwdriver 41 ratchet set. It's $20. I like this because if anything usually breaks around my house, usually all I gotta do is take it apart and buy a little replacement part and put it back in. I had a few vacuums that messed up and was able to fix them. So instead of buying a whole new item, you get to take things apart, buy little replacement parts. Especially on Amazon, you just type in little part numbers of stuff that's broken, and more than likely you can find a little replacement cheap on Amazon. All right, next we got this Astro AI circuit breaker finder. I like this thing. I have the Klein version of it, but it's so helpful around the house, especially if you're popping outlets or something like that, or if you want to work on an outlet or see what breaker goes to that outlet. You just plug it in and then take the wand, go over to the breaker, run it through, and it'll beep. And it has little lights on the receiver showing that there's power going to it. So if you have the wand, you find the breaker, turn that breaker off, and then that light comes off, and then that's what breaker was associated with that outlet. So it's super helpful around the house if you're doing a lot of projects and you don't want to get electrocuted. 31% off, $40. All right, next we got this Govee smart plug with energy monitoring, 4-pack, 20% off, $28. I like this because you can use the app and you can actually see what power you're drawing, what type of power you're drawing. So if you got a tool and you don't know how much power it's pulling, especially in the back room when I'm working on my tools, and I got a bunch of tools running at the same time, shop heater, AC, and a sander, I can see how much draw each outlet's pulling, and I can move it around to a different breaker or something like that. But $28 is a cool investment instead of having to pull out a multimeter and everything like that. So, all right, next we got the DJI Power Station. It's got the LiPo 4 battery that will last for like 10 years. It's 50% off, $350. And if you have any drones or any kind of other DJI products, it has like a fast charger. But for the price and the quality, I think it's a pretty good option, especially if you're camping, if you don't want to run an extension cord a long way. This is a great option, especially if you're one of those old school corded power tool guy. Price of this power station is probably about as much as a 6 amp hour battery anyway. So 50% off, $350, lowest price in 30 days. All right, next we got the Shocks Open Run Pros. I've had these for probably about 6 years now. I love these things. If you're listening to a podcast or you're listening to music or YouTube tutorial on how you're supposed to be fixing your car the right way, you just have it on with the bone conduction technology. You can hear it in your ears, but you can also hear your surroundings, if that makes sense. Plus, if I'm working on something loud, I just put some little foam earbuds in there and I can still hear my music completely clear, same way if I didn't have anything in. But 22% off, $140. This is a pretty good deal, pretty good thing to pick up. All right, next is like a step down. I think the only difference is the amount of battery life, but this one's $90, 31% off. Same thing, the only difference in these is just the battery life. I think one is like 10 hours, the other is 8 hours, so it's not that big of a difference, but I love these things and I wear them all the time. All right, next we got this little endoscope. It's a 16-foot waterproof endoscope for Snake. I think these are cool, especially if you're working on cars or working on some stuff around the house. You want a little camera to see underneath something or behind something. For $30, you don't need nothing. You don't have to attach it to your phone or anything like that. It's a whole unit right there. It's a pretty good option. It's $27. And this is another one, another endoscope camera. And same as the other one, I think this one has just a few more little attachments up here that you click in. It has like a magnet, a hook, and a little 45-degree mirror. But this one's only a few dollars more, $34. This has a little side camera too, so you can see at a 45-degree angle of whatever you're looking at. So pretty awesome little self-contained unit. It's only $35. It's a pretty good investment for something around the house, and it's a fun little tool. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. Like I said, the links are in the description. I appreciate you guys watching the videos. I appreciate your likes. I'm just a guy on the internet trying to find some good tool deals and share it with my people. Thank you.